Aging in office, U.S. President photos before and after. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, serving from March 1861 until his assassination April 1865. Abraham Lincoln was in office during the Civil War. He actually looks cool toward the end of his term. His hair isn't neatly combed like it was in the before, and his beard has a tight trim. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, serving from March 1933 until his death in April 1945. Franklin D. Roosevelt was in office during what has notoriously been called the Great Depression. He looks determined in the before, but he looks a little delusional in the after. Harry Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, serving from April 1945 to January 1953. Harry Truman dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. He has slightly less hair and a few more wrinkles. His look of determination has also changed to a deeper understanding of the hardships in office. Dwight D Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States, serving from January 1953 until January 1961. Dwight D Eisenhower brought an effective end to the Korean War. The youth let his eyes. But the Cold War didn't take the smile off his face. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, serving from January 1961 until his assassination in November 1963. John F. Kennedy effectively forced the Soviets to back down from a possible nuclear war. He wasn't in office long enough to have endured any chaotic aging. Lyndon B Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, serving from November 1963 to January 1969. Lyndon B Johnson took the oath on an airplane after JFK's assassination. It was about the time photos started coming out in color. But it was quite clear LBJ had some age on him before going into office. Richard M. Nixon, the 37th President of the United States, serving from January 1969 until his resignation August 1974. Richard M. Nixon got us out of Vietnam, but the Watergate scandal would end his career. He was effective president, but he got caught spying, and everyone knows that's the rule of thumb. Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States, serving from August 1974 to January 1977. Gerald Ford is the only president who was never elected to office. He became vice president when Nixon's vice president resigned and moved up to president when Nixon resigned. But he was never re-elected. Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States, serving from January 1977 to January 1981, Jimmy Carter dealt with the Iran hostage crisis. He didn't look that great how he handled it. Ronald Reagan stepped in to get it resolved. Ronald Reagan, the 40th President of the United States, serving from January 1981 to January 1989. Ronald Reagan survived an assassination attempt. He went from being a famous actor to being the president. He knew how to age well. George H. W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States, serving from January 1989 to January 1993. George H. W. Bush was in office as the Soviet Union collapsed and the Cold War came to an end. But he thrust us into the Gulf War, and that may have cost him his re-election. Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, serving from January 1993 to January 2001. Bill Clinton actually met President Kennedy when he was 16. He aged well in office, but the scandals alone should have caused him to gain a few wrinkles. George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States, serving from January 2001 to January 2009. George W. Bush was in office during the September 11th terrorist attacks. He had just come into office that year. It was long before we were back to war, continuing a fight his father started. Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States currently serving. Barack Obama took down Osama bin Laden. It's easy to see the office has had the most impact on him. His graying hair is an eye-opening revelation for how hard the office can be.